also known as Sean Young, but that's not important. So anyway, today I'm going to be playing some Elite Dangerous, one of my favorite space simulators and space trading and space combat games of all time. Also, you can just kick around the galaxy and look around all over the place. Yeah, for those of you not familiar with this game, it's basically an open sandbox space simulator. Bit of a steep learning curve for those just starting it. There's a lot of different commands and controls. For instance, just calling up your mail is hitting the square button here. That gives you can get your target panel, your systems panels, also which have different information on them. Also your role panels, so you can decide whether you're going to fly your ship. That's the helm, or like in this case the SRV, which is your surface roving vehicle. But I'm on a space station right now, so I won't really be able to use that. You can see in the corner there, lower right, it says Type 10 Defender. That's the type of ship that I have. And there's a little representation there of it. And it's named Akihabara, after a district in Tokyo, for those of you hip with Japanese culture. It's a big shopping district there. You have lots of electronics and things, so that was fitting for this ship to have a name something like that. Anyway, you get kind of an idea of what the ship... this is like the cockpit looking around a bit. Over here is the controls pop up for the navigation pane, which gives you access to your different galaxy maps, also your transactions, so you can see what missions you have. Got quite a few still piled up. And then also like contacts, so which, if I was in space right now, I could look and see what contacts I have on the radar that are there. You can kind of look around. This is not really a virtual reality view, but it's just sort of a cockpit view. You can look around your cockpit with. If you look down, see, there's my arms. Hey, hello. And so this is our dashboard here with like little holograms of the space station, the big I don't know what they call that, the not a dodecahedron, but the big polygram, polyform that's right there. And there's my ship, a back view of it with the shields around it, and showing that, and also shows that we're landed and got fuel and some of the stuff on the HUD. And over on this side here we have the panel that has all your functions and status display. You see I got like 48 million credits there. I've been playing this game for, I don't know, a few months now. Not quite a while. I've got quite a few ships built up. This is one of the largest ships I have, if not, well, this is actually the largest ship that I have, the most expensive ship. And if it gets blown up, it costs me 13 million credits to replace this puppy, so I want to make sure that that's something that doesn't happen, generally. Over here you can see your modules. It shows your status of all your modules. Right now everything's at 100% health. This, just going through here, shows like your thrusters, and then the code there, it says like 7A. That means that the 7 or the number is sort of like the size of the object, or like shield generator. The higher the number, the bigger and more powerful it is. And then there's an A through an E rating on most of the internal equipment. So if you have something that's an E or an F, that's kind of like the lowest end of the pool, which means it's going to be relatively heavy and not so great. And then as you go up the line, things get heavier or lighter and more powerful as they go along. They sort of switch back and forth between heavy versus power. And then when you get to A, it's kind of like a nice balance of all of those things. Here's our shields. Those little hexagons next to the shield boosters and to the frame shift drive there, which is basically your hyperdrive. Those mean that there are modifications on those. I've gone to some of the engineers and put kooky modifications on, like clean drive thrusters, or longer range for the frame shift drive, that sort of thing. It's one of the things I'm actually trying to work on, is get the frame shift drive up to a higher rate. This is your fire groups, show what buttons are active at any given time for your weapon set. So in this case, here it shows everything on weapon number 1, or on button number 1, which is your R2 trigger. That'll fire all those weapons simultaneously. And some of them are on turrets, and other ones, the ones that have the kind of the compass-looking sort of pattern after the code, or right before the name of the weapon. It shows that that's a gimbaled weapon. There's fixed weapons too that just fire straight ahead. Gimbaled weapons are a little bit more forgiving because they actually track the target that you're aiming at. So if you happen to be off a little bit, the gun will actually target towards the thing, but it has to be kind of in the forward arc of the thing. And the turrets, they show the little turret on there. Obviously, those can fire 360 degrees, which is nice when you're flying along and somebody's chasing you, and you can keep firing your multi-cans at them. It's a big Gatling gun. Inventory shows all the junk I'm carrying right now, which got lots of bio waste. Love hauling me some poop. Then I got some animal meat. These are all where it says haulage there in the triangle. Those are for actual specific missions. They've asked me to say bring 90 tons of this cargo to X place, and then I get my little reward for it. Modular terminals, those are some more widgets. And gold, oh yeah, that's right, I have 247 tons of gold on my ship, which is going to sell for right now I bought it for around 2.2 million credits. That'll sell probably for around 3 million credits, hopefully, and I'll make a nice fat profit off of that. Also, that's also going to be something that will show up on other people's scanners when they see me and realize, hey, he's got $2 million worth of gold on that ship. They're going to try and jump me like crazy. So, and these are all different settings for the thing. You can set on a beacon on and off if you want to have like somebody be able to trace you in your wing. Also, silent running, you can kind of shut down all your systems and run silently, so it's anybody trying to scan you, you just sort of disappear off the radar. Of course, then your heat scale goes crazy because all of your heat isn't venting into space. It's staying internal, which means your ship will heat up very quickly. And you have to either mitigate that by using a heat sink dump or something like that, or just, letting your ship roast until it blows up, something like that. External lights, flight assist, these are all different settings on here, target only. For weapon mode, for turrets. Pre-flight checks is funny. You actually have to go through this whole little checklist, check the joysticks for the, make sure that you're up and down, left and right, and side to side all work, and go through all these different little things. It's kind of a fun little thing once or twice to do, but as far as playing the game, you don't really want to do that so much. I report crimes against me. I guess if somebody's shooting at me, it'll report them. And same with orbit lines. Those are kind of useful as far as being able to see like the orbits of planets and other objects, moods and things orbiting each other. So like you'll see a star with several rings around it, and then there'll be a moon or a planet with a ring or two around it if it has moons, that sort of thing. And uses a ring if there's a station in orbit around it as well. They're actually kind of nice to have there. So it gives you an idea of what the orbits of the planets are like. Also, space is really big and full of not much. So it's kind of nice to be able to see those orbit lines. At least you get an idea that there's a actual system there, and it'll be easier to see when you see these little like glowing dots that are slightly brighter than the other ones, that they'll actually be going. Reboot repair is very nice. It used to be like if you got your ship blown out, like your thrusters got blown out, you basically just sat there dead in space. And you couldn't do anything. You have the ability to actually target specific objects on someone's ship, which is cruel. But now you can actually just set and reboot and repair, which basically the ship turns itself off, runs through a little diagnostic, and it switches everything back on. Remember those modules that showed you the percentage there? If you get anything down to 0%, when you reboot and repair, it'll shut everything down. You'll see all your systems kind of coming back online one by one. And then anything that was destroyed down to like a 0% comes back with like 1 or 2%. Enough to at least limp you to a starport somewhere to get fixed. Anyway, you can see also on the left here, on the status report, you can see another image of the ship. I'll show the ship from the outside in just a second here. But it's Type 10 Defender. You can see the jump range. I've got maximum jump range is 30 light years per jump. And right now, fully loaded, I have a 24 light year jump range, which is pretty badass for a ship this size. It's, I don't know, around like 4,000 tons, something like that. It's a big ship. Anyway, CTV 714 is the like the ID number for the ship. You'll see it on the ship there. I got CTV. I was playing. It stands for a commercial towing vehicle. I was thinking of along the lines of Alien, commercial towing vehicle, Nostromo, and so on and forth is the area code. No big deal. But anyway, let's take a peek at the ship from the outside, shall we? So here's the Akihabara. This is all the landing gear. I guess if you were standing on the deck and looking up at the mighty ship here, this is sort of what you'd see. Pulling back a bit. Oh, this is the back of the ship. Okay. You can see here, sort of get an idea of the size of this thing. That's a door there, like a standard size door for an airlock. It even says airlock there. And I think if we could zoom in a little bit better on the thing, it actually says Lakon. So the Lakon is the company that makes the ship. So you can see there's our thrusters. We've got 8 giant space thrusters on there. On this thing. Let's see. This ship reminds me a lot of the Nostromo from Alien because of like those underneath those lights there. Those look very Nostromo-y, or just kind of the way that their ship looked when it was landed. And let's see, let me get a different angle here, or see if I can get around it. No, that won't let me go around that way. Let me switch back here for a sec. Oh yeah, back. Okay. So there's the basic angles. There's a rear view of it. This is the front. And although it's kind of hard since this is... Oh, let me do something else here real quick. As you can see, we're in kind of like a hangar right now. This is underneath sort of the substructure of the space station. And this is... that big pit there is just like... I don't know what that is supposed to ever be. It's a big maintenance pit or something, I guess. But anyway, up above here, that's where the landing pad is, or will be. And my ship is right now sitting on a landing pad itself. And what'll happen is when I move this out, this whole pad will move forward and take the place of the other one that's up there right now, and allow me to actually get it into the space station proper. This is in a substructure of the space station. But I'll explain a little bit more of the ship once you do that. So, let's do that. So, return to surface. So you can see there's all the lights and stuff going. So, let's go to the outside view once again. You can see our majestic ship moving up into the space station proper. So now here I am in the bowels of the space station, and this is the kind of the inside of it. That's like the end cap. As you can see, it's a round station, so it's rotating. It's got gravity, and there's atmosphere inside here, and all those little pads you see there with the lights on them are all various size landing pads. You've got you can see there's some medium-sized ones, some large ones, some small ones, and all the ships have different sizes. You start off in the game with a little ship called a Sidewinder, which is like dwarfed by this thing. A Sidewinder would be like something that would fit like inside this ship. You could put a bunch of them. So you can see there's my call sign there, CTV, blah blah blah, and the name here, Akihabara, on the side, all lit up with nice pretty lights. Oh yeah, and there's a little hologram tag is letting me know I'm on pad 25. When you're coming in to land on you in any station, it'll say you have to ask for clearance, and it'll say, hey, land on pad 25. And then you look for the little glowing hologram, which will light up and showing you kind of the way to get to your ship. So here's the ship from the outside, the Akihabara. You can see it's a big ship. We saw it before with the little door there. There's another door down here. Let me go down. That's another, whoops, went through the floor. But you can see the other door there. That's another door that's a small airlock. So if that's a door to get into this thing, you can see it's a big ship. It's a very big ship. Kind of flies like a pig. You'll see that in a minute here. Not as opposed to some of the other ships, which are more flighty and zippy around. And this is the bridge on this thing. It's pretty cool. You can see it's all got, you know, the glass there. And there's me sitting at the cockpit. We'll look at me in just a second. There I am. Rock me like a hurricane. Anyway, there's two other seats down there. You can see there's a seat there on the port and starboard side, kind of like on the level down from where I am, and there's a door behind me and what. In fact, you can get to that by doing this. Oops. You can get to that by doing this. So there's one of the seats. And another one. There's both of the lower seats. The other co-pilot seats, those are kind of interesting. You can actually have other people play with you, and they can sit in one of the co-pilot seats, and they can either use the guns that have turrets. They can actually actuate those guns and aim them and fire them independently of what you're doing. Of course, I suppose if I'm busy thrashing around and doing all kinds of violent dogfighting maneuvers, that's probably really fun to try and hit anything with those guns instead of just letting the computer do it, but you know how it is. Anyway, there's me. Ta-da! Hi there. That's the way my character looks. I got fancy like exploration suit for him, and so oh yeah, see, I'm actually turning the joystick right now, or the right joystick that controls your yaw left and right, and then the other stick, controls your pitch and roll, as well. This would be roll and this would be pitch, but yeah, up and down, I get the idea. And your throttles there too. That's the L or R and L1 respectively, throttles you up and down. Not too much like throttle changing when you're in combat. You don't really change the throttle settings so much. You just sort of let it cruise and fly around and blast the guys into oblivion. But there's some neat cockpit views here too. These are all the external camera views. You can look at stuff. There's kind of a fun view. You can see my little decal there for being a Pathfinder or whatever that is. There you have sort of 3 different ranks within the game. Oh, that's kind of a neat view. You can see there's I kind of like looking forward into the bridge. You can see the 2 cockpits down there, the co-pilot seats, and then the captains up on the top there. They call everybody commanders instead of captains because captain's an actual rank. Well, commander kind of is too, but you'll see that in a second here. And once you're on the internal ones, there's one looking down at me, and then this is the back, and then the side, the front and sides, etc. Anyway, that's enough of looking around at the ship. That's pretty cool. As you can see, I'm now looking forward towards the other end of the star, or towards the port. Let's see here. Oh, hey, that's another ship coming in. So there's another big ship like mine. Looks like either a Type 9, which is the predecessor to the Type 10. The Type 9 was designed as just a great big huge freighter. I think that looks like another Type 10 like mine. Oh no, it's a Type 9 because it's got the little orange stripies on it. I've got red stripies. The Type 10 was basically the company that made the fictitious company Lakon that built this ship in the first place. They decided that they needed something a little more teeth to combat these guys called the Thargoids, which are aliens that have been invading. And so anyway, yeah, you can see the little cars driving around the freeway that surrounds the thing. I think that'd be very weird standing on the deck of something like this and looking around. Anyhow, let's see some action here. Been babbling for almost 20 minutes on this, so you hit launch, and then you see we have now been released from the station. So now I want to gain some altitude here, and there's another ship leaving. That is a Type 9 because he's only got 2 engines. Anyway, so we're here. There's the mail slot up ahead. That's like the airlock of the station. Call it the mail slot, nickname-wise. Now we can also raise our landing gear as the my thank you, Celeste. Celeste is my my Kovacs computer voice activate command system or something like that. I don't remember what it stands for, but anyway, Celeste is my onboard person for this. And we want to go nice through here, through the airlock. Get clear of that because it's kind of a pain in the ass to get stuck on, especially with a big ship like that. Not a lot of extra room there. And I'll go back to an external view here just real quick so we can see what this station looks like on the outside. I thought they looked big on the outside. Okay, so there's my ship. You see all the engines roaring away. You can kind of turn those down a bit. Also, it's kind of neat too. Anytime you're maneuvering, you can see the little thrusters firing to like spin or whatever we're doing. Or if I like shut down, you'll see the what do we call it, braking thrusters firing in the front there. So here's our station that we left. That's a Coriolis station, which is, if you played the original Elite back in like 1984, all the stations basically looked like that when you were coming up to them. It was just basically a big box that had the edges carved off, and it was all vector graphics back then. They didn't have any fancy 3D graphics like they got now. So anyway, what we'll probably want to do here, since we've now left the station, is figure out where the heck we want to go. Let's see that big bold taste of the ship here. So, oh yeah, there's another little detail on this ship that's kind of fun. You see the wings fold down when you leave the ground and you pull the landing gear up. The little wings will like flap down straight, whereas on the Type 9 they stay up the whole time. It's just a little thing. Anyway, let's escape this and then check out our galaxy map, see where we're at. So this shows kind of like your local things in the system, your local stops. These are like say here's a planet. Democracy is the name of the planet. Good name for a planet. And here's Jones Station and Duran, which is a moon of this planet. And then a further step down, we got Shepard Cooperative that's in orbit around Duran. And also these little bases here, which are like How Vista, that's a colony. And these other bases. And you can go to system map, which is kind of cool. It shows you like a graphic representation, gives you an idea of what sort of, how many planets are in a system, that sort of thing. This is actually a fairly small system. It's got a great big old sun. It gives you all this neat information if you're like into science fiction stuff or actual science stuff. It's pretty good as far as the science goes. It feels like real space. You don't see planets that are huge from like millions of kilometers away. They're just little dots like stars until you get close to them. So there's like Democracy. We were looking at that earlier. If you switch over to here, it says outdoor world with a human breathable thing. It's like it's been a terraformed world. So it's a world like Earth. And it gives you your Earth masses there, how big it is, radius, gravity, etc., etc., etc. Most of this is all just kind of for the fun of the game, just to give you kind of an idea of like this is like sort of immersion, a real world thing. Semi-major axis is 0.03 AUs away from the sun, which is pretty close to the sun. If you look there, it says 14.9 light seconds from the sun here, which that's really close. I mean, Earth is about 400 or 500 light seconds away, which is about 8 minutes or so away from its planet. So this is like a really close planet. I don't know how you get it to have life on there and terraform a planet that's that close to a sun. But I guess since this is a Class M sun on the main sequence, it's very cool surface temperature wise. Oh Be a Fine Girl, Kiss Me. That's the main sequence stars, as they're called. So M is the very bottom of those stars. It's at the end of its life cycle. And here's Camp Patrick, which is a metallic planet, or a heavy metal planet. They listen to lots of Metallica there. There's the station I just left, Nakasone Terminal. That's where I am with a little blue triangle out there. These other stations, if you look at those, there's Jones Station. And one of the nice things, if you look down at the trade data at the bottom there, you can see that's an agricultural station. And it shows imports and exports. So if you're carrying some of these objects, like say, oh, hey, this is an agricultural station. They like to import bio-waste. I can load up on bio-waste at some other system that's cheap, or they're like, we just have... bio-waste is like available at every place. I mean, everybody poops, like they say. So you can get the bio-waste at a station relatively cheap, like say where I was there, Nakatomi, whatever it was, Nakatoni Terminal. You can get a BioWaste there for pretty cheap, like around 66, probably sell it for like 600 there a piece, which is kind of small potatoes in this game, but when you got 400 tons worth of cargo, you can make that, parlay that into pretty some good stuff. One of the nice things too with the planets here, you can switch over. There's a lot of controls on this thing. I'm not going to explain how all the controls work. You can see tutorials on that. But anyway, this is a surface of the planet. So here's this little moon here. You can see what planets are there or bases. There's Vercor Terminal, which is only season trade data. This is no commodities market. It's just a little base that's there. And I don't even know if you can land there. Yeah, I guess you can. Well, I don't know. It doesn't even say there's a pad there. So it's possible that that's only a destination or place you can land near and go up. Those little pluses behind it, I think, are the kind of like the security level or the size of the thing. So, and there's Verts Exchange. Some of these are for missions where they say, oh, go and blow out the power supply for this station and then steal something there or whatever. That's something to do with your little SRV. Anywho, Hal Vista, that was the one colony I was mentioning before. See, now that one's got facilities, it's got docking, contacts, exploration, etc., etc. So you can refuel and repair and restock and all your stuff there, get crew, even tuning, hey? It's got a colony, an economy for colony. So it wants surface stabilizers. It's a surface side planet, so it wants that. Grain, clothing, exports limpets, which are little drones in the game. Hydrogen fuel, biowaste, etc. So see, they actually export biowaste, so you could pick up the biowaste there probably fairly cheap because it's an export, and then sell it at the other place. You get the idea, you know, capitalism at its finest. Anywho, so here we are cruising around in space. Oh, there's the planet. That's the planet I was talking about, the terraformed one, I think. I believe. Yeah, that's at Camp Patrick, I think. Because that's the closest one. See, it's only 0.17 light seconds away, so that's fairly close. If you hit lock destination, well, yeah, Camp Patrick, there it is. And you can see that's the high metal content world. But I don't think you can land on it. One of the things it'll show if you can land on it is if on the system map, it'll have a blue like circle around it if you can land on it at all. Yeah, see, these planets are just there. You don't want to crash into them. You can't really land on them. This planet you can because it's got a blue circle around it. And some of them with the little upper left there where it looks like skyscrapers means there's actual bases on the planet. Some planets, moons, you can just land on and drive around and try and pick up resources and stuff. That takes a long time. And usually it's not worth it too much because the resources are fairly few and far between. So, here's all the missions we've got. A bunch of these have only 17 hours left to complete them. Let's check out where some of these ones are. 45 units of biowaste to deliver at Davy Station in Epsilon Eridani. Let's check it out. So this is also something new that they put in the rewards choices on the most recent update, which is kind of a big update. Add some new graphics and stuff in. You can choose what you want for your rewards. You can choose one when you get your thing done, or when you get your mission complete. So this one you can choose on the far right there, influence, and get 3 pips of influence and reputation instead of only 2, where you can see the first one there left on the left. I get 233 credits, 233,000 credits. Or I can choose Neofabric Installation, which is a cargo, and I have to actually have 28 tons worth of cargo space to put that in. And I only get 67,000 credits and the same reputation and influence, but I also get that Neofabric Installation, which may be used for another mission, or maybe there's like a place where I know that I can sell it for really expensive, and that might, you know, balance out what I want to do with it. So sometimes they also give you these things in your inventory, like materials and data and synthesis. These are all things, or materials and data at least, are used for your upgrades for your ships. So you can see, like, you know, here's like 23 out of 200 that I can store of these classified scan data banks. And for added extra happiness, you can see where you can get under locations. You can see where you can actually get, can be traded at encoded material traders and high security systems populated with high-tech or military economies. And these are used for building upgrades, and it shows where you can find them and what it is. And all this stuff is just extra icing on the cake for the coolness of this game. So one of the things we can do, because see right now I'm putting along, it would take me at this speed of going right now about 200 meters per second, or I get my thrusters get up to about 240 something, 246 I guess, 47. That's going to take 2.5 days to get to that planet. If I wanted to actually go there, I'm not going there anyway. But this is the thing you can engage all your frame shift drive. So we'll say Super Cruise. Thank you, Celeste. And what your frame shift drive does, you can see is now 15 seconds away, 10 seconds away. Oh, I'm going to smash right into it, so I better veer off there. Slow down, even says. You're going to smack it on the damn planet. Anyway, frame shift drive is a faster than light, or eventually gets faster than light method of travel. Now here's democracy. We talked about that, and there's the Class M there, way off in the distance. And it's 54 light seconds away, which ain't very far, really. There's a nav beacon. You can get information for the system there, usually. And there's also something flying around there. That green triangle is was security forces, yeah. Now it's green because it's an allied rep with me. I'm in the Federation, and so it's a federal ship. Happen to also be an admiral in the Federal Navy, because I'm awesome. But anyway, yeah, so you can see, now I'm moving very quickly right now. You can see I'm going 3 times the speed of light. There goes democracy. Randiran, just sail by those, no problem. And you can see how the thing fluctuates. The light speed actually decreases as you're getting closer to a star. That's something that the computer has built into your starship so that you won't accidentally crash into a planet. You can actually crash into a planet, but usually the system will slam you out of frame shift drive before you're about to hit, and kind of wreck you. You don't like to hit emergency stop, basically. You don't want to hit the E-stop button. Anyway, there's a radar down here. It shows your kind of in a 3D thing of where you're at. If you've played other games using 3D radars, you can see that the kind of the stick that it's on is sort of like the up and down. Like right now it's behind me, like directly behind me, like 90 degrees. So if I was to look at the outside of my ship and turn around, you can see there's the sun behind me, just like I said. Proof of concept. And as you can see, it also gets very dark out in space. There's no sun out here. The sun's way behind us, a little dot. And that's what a sun would look like, or a star would look like if you traveled, several light seconds away. If it was a small sun, it just turns into one of the other myriad of suns. Billions and billions of planets all blazing away in space, yeah. And there's me in there. Doo-doo-doo. Flyer going, where the hell am I going? And you can also turn on your lights. It's nice to have the landing lights on when you get to if you're doing a mission with where you're on a planet and you happen to be on the night side of the planet at the time you're doing the mission. It's kind of nice to turn your lights on and be able to see the ground when you get to within, a couple hundred meters. Anyway, let's go somewhere. So we're traveling at a fairly good speed right now. About 90 times the speed of light. That's pretty quick. You can go up to like several hundred times the speed of light depending on where you happen to be. Like right now, 103, 104. You get the idea. But that's still going to take days, months, years to get to a planet. Unless, of course, you're going to step it up and use your frame shift drive to go interstellar on the galaxy map. So here's our galaxy map. You can see where the orange little squares show where I have destinations of something that I'm doing. The computer has said, hey, you have a cargo that needs to go there. And then these little blue dots are representative of just where a particular place is. Like, see right now, I'm dead center on Ross 986. Now if I go over here to LHS or HS 1963, it was a good year. It's actually up here. You can see that the star itself is up here, but the little blue dot is just kind of indicative of where the level is, just to kind of like be able to click on it and navigate around. So you can see this planet. Nothing there for me, at least. There's a star, another class M, and then some asteroid fields. There's some is this gas giant? Yep, class 3 gas giant. And then it's got a ring around it where you can also mine the rings. There's another metallic planet, and it's got a small station. My ship is large enough to where I can't actually land at that station because they only have medium and smalls on the outposts. The big Coriolis type station like I had, and some of the other ones have large landing pads at them. And of course, plant side bases also have large pads as well. There's a class Y. Oh, that's actually a brown dwarf. That's actually a star, or a dead star. And basically, it's now effectively a large gas giant, a gas giant planet, and it has some stellar properties, shows its age and its extrasolar radius. La la la. That's kind of cool. And then there's some of these planets like this. These are actually orbiting each other. Those two planets, ice worlds. So you get an idea that there's all kinds of different stuff. Oh, if you want to see a neat one, some of you may be familiar with this star system. Here's Oit, or as I like to call it, the Earth. So here's our solar system. Here's our happy little G5 star. Main sequence, 4.7 million years old. Solar mass is 1. Solar radius 1. That's what they base everything else off of. There's Mercury. Nice little metal-rich world with a planet, or a base around it called Daedalus. Well, there's factions too, like where it says Mother Gaia. That shows your who is sort of in control of the. There's different factions that you'll deal with in the game, and they all give you different missions and things. Here's Venus. It's a nice place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there. Surface temp 735 degrees Kelvin. Yeah, that's probably a little warm. Surface pressure 93.19 atmospheres. Very nice. Yeah, so you don't really want to go to Venus so much. Tide locked. And here's the station at Burnell Station. Our Soul Workers Party. They're pretty cool. Yeah. Me and them, they were just like this. Now, Mercury's actually got some bases on it, which is, I think, funny. Here's the Walls Depot, a little industrial base. And Furukawa. As you can see, there's Ehrlich City. That's another little industrial station or planet there. As you can see, they've really kicked up the technology in this because of the fact that it's now the year. Oh, it's April 2nd, 21 hours Greenwich Mean Time, April 2nd of 3304. So it's the year 3300. So we've had a good 1,000 plus or 1,300 years of stellar drift and expansion and technological advances. So there's quite a few things going on. Here's the Abraham Lincoln Station, which right now is kind of my home headquarters. I usually am based off in another system called Rhea, which has a lot of my other ships based here. Now see that little red triangle thing and that little red square with the triangle, that shows that I have a ship based there. One of my ships is parked there at the station. And that is the... Where does it show that? Oh, the door's going to slam in just a moment, so don't worry about that when it happens. There you go. Told you it would. Anyway, that's where there's another ship of mine that's parked. It's my Python. Yeah, it said store-shipped Python. That's my other ship. It's a beautiful blue ship called the Stellar Wanderer. It's my general workhorse ship. And here's good old Earth. One of the things I think is kind of cool if you look back here at like there's this summary is a historic system famous as both the birthplace of humanity and as the political capital of the Federation. A very expensive and prestigious system to live in and a popular tourist venue. Most rich humans can visit or will visit Earth once in their lives. All the major corporations have their headquarters on Mars, terraformed in 2286, which is the main center for administration. So for Mars has now been terraformed for 1,000 years. So that's they've got their shit together there pretty much. Sorry, but it's the S word. Whatever. I hear worse. But anyway, there's Mars. And Mars you can't land at. Same with like Earth. However, you can visit Mars High, which is the main administration area. And there's our asteroid belt. You can mine things there. You can go out to Jupiter. And go out to Io. And Europa and Ganymede and Callisto. And there's Columbus. This is the space station that's in orbit around Io, apparently. There's good old Saturn and Uranus. He said Uranus. And Neptune, of course. And our good old friend Pluto, which we're still deciding whether it's a planet or a planetoid, whatever. Charon, the moon. And then, of course, we have all of our extrasolar bodies as well. Orcus and Vance. These are all like the, what do you call those things? The centaurs or toroids or whatever they call them out the hell out in the middle of nowhere. They're things that are out there. And I don't know if these are like actually out there right now or these are things that were added for the game saying, we found, there's Eris, Planet 10, whatever they want to call it, and Siona and Persephone, which is another one. So these are all like other bodies outside the solar system there. You can see here that Earth is 1 AU away from the sun. Astronomical unit, or no, it shows the 493 light seconds from the sun. That's like 8 minutes. Persephone is like 400 something. 455,000 light seconds from the sun. So it's like way the hell out there. And a light second is about kilometers for all you nerds out there. And so, well, even if you're not a nerd, it's still 300,000 kilometers. So not. No, 300,000 kilometers, roughly. Or 186,282 miles, but who uses miles anymore when you have metrics? So, this is actually a game that was, I believe, Frontier is in England, and so that's why a lot of the characters have some of the words have English spellings and that kind of thing in them. Anyway, here's what's cool about this. Here's our map, and well, you can see Sol there, and then there's like Alpha Centauri. And Epsilon Eridani and some of these 70 Ophiuchi and Wolves and LHSs. These are all systems that people have kind of like Altair and Cygni, 61 Cygni and some of these other planets, Eta Cassiope that like ring a bell, like, hey, I've heard of that system before. Procyon, that sort of thing. That's all of our local area. In space here for the stars. I mentioned I was over in Rhea, which is over here. Rhea is about 61 light years from where I'm kind of like floating around right now. So Rhea is not far away from Earth, but far enough to where you can't ride a bicycle there. Unless your bicycle could go 100 times the speed of light. Anyway, what's really awesome about this game, there's what they call the bubble. And the bubble is the political kind of leanings of the galaxy. So the power play shows like the different powers that control space. So here's the Federation space. White is sort of like where my part of the Federation is. There's kind of different powers within the Federation. There's like 3 or 4 different guys controlling different sectors. Anyways, you can see there's the different area. And the bubble is sort of like all known space. Or not known space, but like controlled space. This is kind of where all your empires are. There's Imperial stuff. There's also the Federation and other things. And you see all those little dots? All those dots are an actual system. Or stars. A lot of the stars are just a star. It's like just a star and maybe like an asteroid field, or a star, or 2 stars, or 3 stars, or whatever. And nothing really there. So there's a lot of empty space. However, a lot of these systems have planets and stuff around them. But anyway, if you go back to a map, just a realistic map. There's a map. Oh, by the way, these other little things, the blue squares, those are all planets that I've been to apparently, at some point, or put basically a pin on the map, so to speak, because of some reason. Like, hey, this is where I need to find such and such, or a particular mission I happen to be doing. And you can see where I was here earlier. You know, these are all relatively close to where I am, kind of like Wolf 424 here, which I have a mission at. That's 22 light years away, so that's fairly close. Check this out, though. If you pull out a bit, you can see kind of the bubble here. Those other stations down here, these are ones that are wrecked stations that the Thargoids have attacked, the aliens have attacked. There's a lot of alien activity down here. That's sort of their main pushes in the Pleiades area. So lots of bases down there got wrecked. Anyway, and then there's every one of those little dots is another star system you can see. Now check this out. Whoa, there's pretty much all the stuff I've been to. As you can see. Dismiss. And you can pull further back. And you see the galaxy. And even further back. And further back. And you see the entire galaxy. The whole friggin' galaxy. Like 5 billion some planets or whatever it is. And the Magellanic Clouds out here. And it's just huge. You can get the idea of the frame of this. Here's I was actually trying to get to the center of the galaxy. There's actually a colony over here, or a group of planets in nearby systems called Colonia. They're building they're trying to build a like a hyperspace super freeway that goes to the center of the galaxy. Mostly in an attempt to ensure that the human race continues in case the aliens come along and decide to destroy like all of humanity down here, which they're doing a fairly good job at wrecking stations and things, although they're weird and we don't know what's going on with the Thargoids. They're alien, you know, they live up to the name. Now you can see there's some also very distant objects like this nebula here. You can go to the nebulas and find scientific information and stuff. I haven't really been to a nebula yet, so I don't know. Been playing for a long time, but they're way the hell out there, as you can see. And there was one planet right here. Yeah, this guy. This is a planet that on my way out I was trying to get to, and I didn't actually make it to the center of the galaxy, sadly. But this planet here, Elenost or whatever, I just picked a point randomly out near here because I could not actually calculate a route that was anywhere long enough to get me to the center of the galaxy. It's like 30,000 light years away. So you can see here, if I was to try and jump out here, that's 10,000 light years from where I'm at. So that's a long route. If I was to try and do that. In fact, if I try and hit on this, these are the things, like say if I want to try and see, I don't even have a system map because I never made it to this system. It was just sort of like a beacon that I set up just randomly and said, okay, head here first, and then I can get to the rest of the center of the galaxy from there. Anyway, if you try and calculate route, plotting route, you can see it's going through a little percentage thing. Normally it plots routes fairly instantly, but since I'm going 10,000 light years, and I can make 24 light years per jump, fully loaded, 30 if I'm not loaded, that's still going to take like a bunch of jumps, 300 jumps or something. I'm just curious. I'd like to see how this lasts, or how this does. Alright, so I have a course calculated across the galaxy. It's a known space over here, wherever the hell it is. If you can find it. Oh, man. So big. Anyway, here's this. So, the first leg of our little galactic trip, if I was to go back to where I'm at here, it'll show where I start. Right here. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh, but anyway, you can see there it says 499 jumps, so I'm going to have to make 499 jumps to get to that system. Which is only halfway to where I want to go anyway, which isn't really all that good. So, anywho, that gives you an idea of the scale of this game and the scale of the galaxy. Now see, right now it's showing an orange. That's my next stop would be Biomir if I was to continue this path. This path goes, you know, runs along here, goes all those different stars. It has to actually calculate out what stars I could visit within the range of that. And sometimes, depending on your stuff, it'll skip around to different stars, give you a different course. If, like, say, if I had a ship that only went 10 light years in a jump, that's going to take a lot longer because it's going to have to figure out what stars are close enough to jump between those stars, whereas right now I can make a fairly large hop between stars that are fairly large, you know, far apart or whatever. Now that's where it says fuel star. That's where I will have to stop and refuel my ship to continue on. That's only 100 light years away with my system here. So I know you can see the rest of it zapping off into the distance. Anywho, and you can see the you can see the actual point here up in the upper left. 10,000 light years away. There's sort of where it's snaking around towards. There's also a way to kind of cheat the system. There's these FSD boosts, or the flame shift drive boosts, where you can find like a white star, like a pulsar, and if you can sit and kind of hang out in the jet cone of the pulsar, where these big flumes are shooting out of the side of the star, you can actually supercharge your star drive, so you can go Super Saiyan and go further. It adds like double the boost range or something. So like my 23 light year jump would be able to then say jump 50 light years or 60 light years or whatever the jump is powering you up. And so you can do like a super powered hyperdrive jump. So you can go like 60 light years in a jump. Now, granted, 60 light years out of 10,000 is not a big, huge deal. But if you were to make a couple jumps, and that could take the place of 2 or 3 jumps at a time, there's apparently enough of those stars interspersed throughout the galaxy to where that will save you some time and effort. Also, another nice thing is that the galaxy map, you can give it a filter to say, hey, I want to make sure that those are in there. Where it says FSD boost down here, you can say, hey, I want to be able to get the boost. And boost level 1 and 2 and 3, which you can actually boost up your drive as well. So I can see if I get level 3 boost at 60 or 49 light years fully loaded with all my stuff. Excuse me. That's the FSD boost. You can actually boost that with stuff that you're carrying. You throw some, I don't know, different, wacky dust into your hyperdrive and it makes it go faster. Or you can do fastest routes, which only gives you a 20 light year range because it's more fuel efficient that way. Or you could do this one, maximum 1,000 light years. Oh, I see. That's the maximum distance you can go fastest routes or whatever. Jet cone boost is the one I was talking about before. Economical routes lets you choose ones where you can refuel or whatever, or you can do fastest routes. Sometimes those will actually change how you're doing stuff. But anyhow, let's go somewhere to another system, shall we? So to do that, we want to figure out where we're going. Okay, here's 45 tons of crap. Where are we going to deliver that to? Epsilon Eridani, as I was talking about, I think about a half an hour ago. So here's Epsilon Eridani. And we want to hit there. We know that there's a... as a matter of fact, there are 3 missions here at Epsilon Air, Danny. Or 3 stations I want to stop off at and drop off information. Or supplies or whatever I'm doing. I have those missions. So, we know it's an agriculture planet. I think... Oh, I loaded up all on gold. So I have tons of gold in my hardware. Or in my station. So, all the gold you can eat. Major's Mine. Let's see what this planet is. We'll do a planet. Since we've already seen a station, let's do a planet. So we'll go to Lina Weaver Landing, which I think actually I do have more than 1 mission there too. It's a colony. They love gold at colonies. They're a colony. What can you say? So we hit the. Oh, we don't need that. That's how you make the little bookmarks. You make a little pin somewhere. I'm gonna actually put a route there to that. So now it will actually formulate the route to that system or to that particular port. It looks like a big gas giant there. Yep. A Jovian gas giant. By Jove! I think he's got it. Anyway, so that's 3rd planet out. And as you can see, that's far... Oh, wait. That's not where I wanted to go. What happened there? I've still got my old stupid course set for the other part of the galaxy there. Oh, it just reset it. Okay. Probably had to like uncalculate all that stuff. Like, whoa. You're not going to the center of the galaxy anymore? No, I'm only going, what, 20 light years, something like that? 19 light years. It's a hop. It's a puddle jump. Anyway, let's do this. Ready to go. So, you can see on the upper left, well, there's the main radar. The left of the radar there's a, oh, I'm going 1,500 times the speed of light. Very nice. So here's our destination. You see that little white dot? I'm trying to get that in the middle of the X. That shows where our destination is. You know, aim and shoot, basically. So, here we are. Lined up with that. Now we hit our frame shift drive again. Thank you, Celeste. She's also a custom mod for the ship's computer. They usually have a different female voice, but I got Celeste because she sounds sexy in French. Here we go. So now we disappear into the nothingness of what the hell space that doesn't really exist, but somehow is able to go interstellar distances in a matter of moments, as you can see. See our light speed gauge was just freaking the hell out because I had no idea how to read that. So here we are at the sun. Here's a fun thing. These are my fuel scoops right now. You can see the heat level there. I'm only at 62% of heat, my heat capacity. But that where it says fuel, and you can see the little arrows zooming into it. I have a fuel scoop on the ship. That's how you reload at this, or you can refuel at the stars. You just basically open up a scoop and suck up a bunch of hydrogen into it from the star. Some planets you can't reload at, or you can't refuel at, which is not fun. So anyway, here I'm going to Lina Weaver Landing, which is our planet. We know it's 400 light seconds away. We'll make sure we watch our speed so I don't go rocketing past at 18 times the speed of light when I'm trying to get close to it. So right now I'm going 16 times speed of light. You can see the numbers decreasing rapidly. And I'm going to bring it down to about half speed right now to start decelerating a bit. And there you can see there's our target. There's a planet there, Lina Weaver Landing, etc. Shows the distance and speed. When I get closer, you'll see that there's another little needle that will appear on the speed level. And as you can see, this is just really neat as far as interstellar travel goes. You get the real sense that there's real distance between these things. And that, like, so that little guy down here, that's another ship. Those little light dots with like comet tails behind them, those are all other ships in their little FSD drives clicking away and destroying the fabric of of space. Anyway, here comes the planet that I'm coming up to. I want to decelerate down to about 2 little pips down there on the bottom, the right there where it says 21 or megameters per second. That's my throttle setting here. I can speed up, slow down. You get the idea. But right here at about two solid little cubes at the very top of that, that's a good approach speed to a planet. As a matter of fact, you can see that other needle that I was talking about there, where it says speed on the left, lower right or lower left rather. That's your speed and what when you get down to that blue part of the speed, that's what you want to be as far as reaching a safe landing speed, so to speak, or safe approach speed. That's when you can safely shut off your star drive and not wreck yourself. So as you can see, I'm getting very close to that planet, or the moon there. We'll see this planet fall here pretty quick. I love the way the planet fall looks. It's so cool. Because it zooms all the way in. It's like, it looks like just a little dot, and now there's this giant moon underneath me. That's going to be even bigger soon. And also you can see now I've kicked in a altimeter and like more ground type orbital flight maneuvering. Still 1,000 kilometers away from the port. Coming in fast though. And now what's going to happen where it, you can see on the lower right there those numbers ticking away. That's, longitude, latitude, the number of G's that I'm experiencing. Also the when it gets down to where it says, I think DRP or drop, it's going to go down into a cruise mode where I just glide. And for those of you familiar with flight simulators and HUDs, that's your attitude ladder. And it'll speed up when you get into the blues or slow down. So I'm getting pretty close. Once it drops down to below, I think like 40 kilometers or so, then I'll go into glide mode. And you don't want your descent ladder to be too harsh if you're going like straight down like 90 degrees, or else it'll just kick out it won't let you glide. Oh, we're like right on the... Okay, so now we've got glide engaged. We're like right on the... what do they call that? The Terminator? With the for the light, because you can see where the daytime has disappeared. See where the stars disappear? That's the edge of the planet there, and you can see it. It's becoming more and more. For all you flat earthers out there, this shows that it's round, and it'll look really flat when you get to the ground, because you're on a big giant ball. It's 10,000 kilometers wide. What do you know? Okay, so here we go. We're getting close. The glide's going to automatically kick out. And there should air traffic control talking to us very soon here. Roger that. Okay. So I'm going to bring it down to just cruising altitude here. It's only 2 kilometers away. These large pads are probably where they're going to have me land. There's one lit up over there. You see the hologram there, the 04 or whatever it is? That's a small pad. There's no way I'm landing there. I'm probably going to land on one of these. So I can call up the contact Linda Weaver, and ask for a docking. Yep, there it is. And another thing too is I have a docking computer. Yeah. I have a docking computer on this ship. Most of the ships don't have that. At least none of my medium or small ones do. The large ships I do mostly because of convenience. Because the large ships are big old cows. Looks like a fish, steers like a fish, or moves like a fish, steers like a cow. Anyway, you can see it's playing the 2001 theme, or the Blue Danube, like 2001. Here it is coming in. So the docking computer just automatically takes over your flight and will land you accordingly. You can see there's another one landing in the background there. Anyway, so now we can go to Starport Services and say, hey, I had a mission here. Welcome to Lunaweaver Landing, home of the Sublime Order of Van Man and Star. And so, anyway, here's the mission board. And so it'll show what missions I have at this location, or what I'm supposed to be turning in. Let's see what we got. Stand by, it says. It's loading up all the information right now. This is an online game, or a persistently online game. So although you don't have to be accessing it constantly, it's a persistent galaxy and persistent stuff with, you know, what's happening with you and everything else, and your place within there. So you see these various people. So here's the Counselor Tegan Harris. She says blah blah blah. Hey, thanks for coming to the port. And usually they say our economy's strong and business is booming. Or they say, oh, we're in the middle of a famine right now and we're having some trouble with feeding everyone. And usually those different, you can see on the upper right, it says like superpower affiliation, their current state, like boom, bust, outbreak, whatever, civil war. All kinds of things can happen, and then sort of like what they are politically. So there's a political group of some sort that's running the place. And right here where there's the exclamation mark, the Independent Fleet of Mothership, I guess that's them. I have a courier job for them, so I just hit complete mission and I choose, well, let's see. There's, if you look at the left there, where Counselor Tegan Harris is, there's that little bar. That's my reputation with these people. I haven't really been to this planet before, so it's not really too much, just neutral. So I'll say, well, I don't really care about getting a reputation with these guys. I just want the money. 33,000 credits. We'll take that. Then they say, why, thank you. And in fact, they've now changed over to Envoy Rudy Mosher there. You can see he's now moved up because I moved into the next bracket, which is Cordial. And Cordial is nice because then they give you better missions. They say, hey, we got these better missions for you now. And sometimes you'll need to have different levels of reputation with a faction to be able to do a mission or get a particular ship or whatever. There's lots of stuff with that. As you can see, that's only one of many groups in the galaxy. There's hundreds of different factions. Independent Fleet of Mothership is one of them. Obviously, they're a political group. Hutton Orbital Truckers Cooperative is another one that I'm actually been working with. I'm up to friendly with them. So next one, that last box is Allied, which means that you're at the max rate with those guys. Anyway, so it shows all the different missions you can go on. Like here, there's another data delivery. There's an assassination one. These ones are the blue little circle with 3 guys on it, or 3 things. That means it's a wing mission, which they are recommending that that's a multiplayer mission. You should have other guys coming along with you, and you can say, hey, buddies, let's go. And then all 3 of you would go and blow up this guy, whatever this terrorist, stinking bishop. Everybody get some better hygiene if he's got a stinking bishop. Anyway, there's also this one, Assassinate Pirate Lord, so-and-so at Tau Ceti system. It shows the distance, kind of like where they're at. There's mining missions. These ones I usually don't do too much because mining is kind of boring. And right now, with the types of ships I have, it's not all that profitable. I can usually go out and mine some good stuff and come back, but half the time I end up getting jumped by pirates and they blow me up and I have to rebuild my whole ship anyway, so it's kind of a pointless thing. And even if I do survive the pirates, half the stuff, the profit that I made goes back into repairing the ship practically, so, you know. Anyway, there's also these massacre missions and mining missions, and then there's these boom time delivery ones. I'm doing some other deliveries as well. This one shows here that I need a minimum reputation of cordial to be able to do it, so requirements are not met on that mission. If it was, I could get 233,000 credits off that, which is pretty awesome. Later on, you get some of these missions that give you, like, you know, 1 million, 2 million credits, you know, for doing a scan or something. There's planet-side missions too. Lots of delivery missions from these guys, so that's a good thing. You can hear all the sounds of the starport in the background. Anyway, you can refuel if I want to. It's only $300. a drop in the bucket for me since I got 48 million. So colony commodities market. I never really went over these. With mission board, you can get your missions to give you a reason to live, a reason to go from star to star to star to get things or pick up supplies and deliver them somewhere else, or information, or go to a system and salvage something and then bring it back to another guy. These are all kind of typical missions, or lots of combat missions. I'm not really into combat so much. I like a lot of these exploration and delivery missions. Plus, I find that they pay really well, and you don't have to worry about your ship getting blown up generally. Although I did crash on the surface of a 4G planet a while back. That was no fun. That was my other thing, doing a scan. I just dropped like a rock onto the planet surface and blew up. Passengers are also a very lucrative endeavor. However, I do not have a passenger ship currently with me. There is a passenger ship I have, which is beautiful, and it looks like a great giant white luxury liner, and it's amazing and awesome, called the Spirit of Rhea. However, it's stationed about 60 light years from where I am right now. The nice thing with the passengers, though, like as you can see here in a moment, is you have your same factions to work with, and it's nice to build up some factions to get better passengers. And then they give you different things. You can see these bounties on these guys, not bounties, but like pay rates are really good. Like $10,000, $10 million for this guy on a sightseeing adventure. Like all kinds of rep and all kinds of influence and stuff. You need to be allied with these dudes, though. So that's when I don't qualify for it anyway because I have no cargo holds. But I'll show you that in a second. Anyway, if we look at his mission, though, it says he's a rich tourist. Show us the universe, Commander. So he's a rich tourist, and he wants to see this Pachanoan visitor beacon, Binar visitor beacon, and Ascinda visitor beacon, and Gerundi 6b ice geysers. So he wants to stop at 4 different locations throughout the galaxy, and then come back. And once you're back, then he will pay you. And then you can see he pays you $10 million. Man, that's a run. And then so you see the systems have to go 48 light years, then 125 light years, then 169, then 168, and then back to here to get the credit for this mission. Here's the thing that's kind of a funny thing. So minimum cabin class is economy. You need different cabins. You can have economy, luxury, business class, etc. Time left, there's only 13 hours to complete that mission in, so that's what you have to do, kind of like in 1 or 2 sittings and get it done. They don't kind of sitting around. They got things to do, especially with the rich tourist. However, the passenger traits, this is kind of fun too. So he doesn't react well to danger, so you want to avoid combat with him. My ship, that's the passenger ship, has no guns on it. It's just big shields. And, most of these passengers don't want to get shot at while they're trying to have a vacation. He's laid back, so you don't have to worry about delays. Some of the people are real uptight. And if you are delaying the thing, they're like, hey, I got things to go, people to see, places to do. Why are you taking so long? And they get mad at you, and then their happiness goes down, which means they pay you less money when they get there. Low value target, so he's not likely to be softer. Some guys are real high value targets. And, like if it's a general or something, there's definitely guys that are the enemies that are like, hey, we can kill a general out on this vacation. Sweet. Neutral, so if I do something illegal, it's not likely to piss him off too much. Some guys are real finicky about it. Like, hey, you rammed that starship accidentally when you were exiting your starbase, and you got a $300 fine, so that wasn't cool. That's illegal. Yeah, and then there's demanding. Demanding passengers usually ask for something too, and then denying them will reduce their satisfaction. So like he says, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we were to get like 2 tons of clothing that you could give me while we're on our trip? So you have to find 2 tons of clothing somewhere to give him, or whatever he's asking for. And if you don't give it to them, then they get all miffy and what? They can actually get so pissed off that the next station you land at, they just hop off the ship. They just go forget you and just get off the ship altogether and don't pay you nothing. That's always kind of funny. However, those are the individual guys. So like, see, he's only got like he has little entourage. They're like 8 passengers. So you know, that's just them. Now, one of these other ones, or these ones that all say transport with a little crown on them for the suitcase. That's like an individual dude, and they all have their own little foibles. Like this guy, Rory Villarreal. He's another rich tourist, but he just wants to go see Freeholm Victory and Thorak Visitor Beacon. And he doesn't react. Oh, he's another rich tourist, so it's the same thing as the other guy. Let's see if we can find somebody different. They watch another rich tourist. Okay, they just want to go to one place, and then back. But see, she's only 900,000, which is not bad, for just a there and back. That's not too bad at all. Yeah, I'll get that in a sec. Okay, another rich tourist. Wow, so lots of rich tourists through these guys. Okay. Sometimes there's like guys that are like pirates, or like, oh, here's a crime lord. He wants you to do him, or cruise around and see the galaxy with him. Usually those guys pay really well, but they're also at a premium. And also, if you get into a system where they get scanned, they usually get pissed off, and then the guys open fire on you because they're like, hey, there's guys here. So these ones have a number, like say 45 medical professionals seeking transport. So I need to have at least 45 berths on my ship to be able to carry all these guys. It's 800,000 credits, which is a pretty decent run. And you just basically take them from Schneider Relay, where I'm at, to Epsilon Indy. Oh, you're taking them to Schneider Relay in Epsilon Indy. And then once you get there, they get off and they help out the people that you're doing. The nice thing about the passengers that are like this, although they take up a lot of room, like see 45 seats, they need, pardon me, they don't demand anything. They don't care. They're just like, just get us there. And so they sit there and just wait. They don't make any demands on you. They don't ask for anything special. Sometimes they have people that will jump them. Like, there'll be modifiers to missions. Like, you might be cruising along and all of a sudden the guy goes, oh, hey, we forgot to tell you there's some people are hunting us. Usually, like tourists, that's not a big deal. Sometimes medical professionals might have people hunting them. Aid workers, they're probably not likely to be hunted. Although it says here, hostile ships may be sent against you. Noguchi Arsenal in the G99-49 system. Boy, it just rolls off your tongue, doesn't it? Well, see, that's not a bad one either. 800K to schlep a bunch of guys along just to one base to the next. Not bad. Anyway, I digress. Business persons. There's also contacts over here, which allows you to look at different things. If you get these for a specific reason, like a mission. Black market, you can sell junk that you've got, like a mission, and they get all mad at you and sometimes fine you and stuff when you don't do a mission. But like I could sell the animal meat if I wanted to. Also, some of the missions, if you fail them, like if I'm carrying that animal meat and I don't do it in the allotted time, that mission will automatically fail. So like, oh, what am I going to do with all this animal meat? I think I'll sell it in the black market. To recover your losses, I guess. Power contacts is for the that's a little bit more of trying to sway the sway the influence of the galaxy. That map I showed before with all the bubble with all the different influence. You can actually try and sway the way the galaxy is going there. And the search and rescue here is showing different things you can pick up from like a ship, or sometimes you'll discover a ship has a black box or wrecked components or an occupied escape pod, personal effects. These things will be as part of missions usually, or like you might just find one on a planet. Like, hey, here's an occupied escape pod on the planet. Cool. I can pick that up and hand it in and get some money for it. Anywho, let's do another Michigan here. So we turned in our thing at Lena Weaver Landing there. We got other things in this system. Dark's High. Let's go here. Davies Station, I know I have stuff at too, but this is nice and close. So Dark's High is nice and close. We'll just hit lock destination. And we'll go ahead and launch. So I just landed here. We didn't go into the understructure or anything. So now I'm taking off. It's basically moving me down and rotating it around. If you go into the understructure here, like there, it does that automatically when it pulls you into the dock. In this case, they turn you around first on a turntable and then you launch. Oh. So then, let's hit that. Get the landing gear up. Here's something fun. A view of the system here of the planet. So you can see my contrails leaving the base there. And there's our little happy outpost there. And there we are, driving hard for space. Look, it's flat. Look, it's starting to get rounder. Flat earthers, take note. I know it's just a video game, but come on, guys, really? You know, video games got that right. By the way, the dude the flat earther dude that launched his little gas-powered rocket or whatever went up to like 1,800 feet. Not high enough. If he gone to 18,000 feet, maybe. 180,000 feet, well, 180,000 feet is going to be in the troposphere or whatever that's called, the upper atmosphere. He definitely is going to see the curvature of the Earth from there, but he's also probably in orbit at that time, which with this little jank-ass rocket I don't think would have worked. Anyway, here we see the mighty Akihabara passing majestically. Oh yeah, here's all the engines at full thrust. Here's what they look like when you hit the booster. Whee! Afterburners. Oh, and you see these vents up on the top here. These are part of the frame shift drive. They're like vents that open up, and I guess they open up too when you hit the thrusters. But we'll get out of here so we can hit the. Oh. Ah, yes. I had one of my hard points. Oh, this is kind of cool too. Let me try this. So here's our ship. Let's see. Let's get some sunlight on us. There we are. And then we go to, if you deploy your hard points, you can see all the guns coming out. So there's little hatches opening up on the wings and that. This thing has a buttload of guns on it. And you can see there's one of the autocannons there, one of the multi-guns. That's one of the lasers there. It's a pulse laser. So a little radar dome over here. Not real sure what it is, but it's something. That's one of the beam lasers there, the big dual-barreled one. Another Gatling gun. I've been climbing altitude this whole time. There's two little peewee guns in here. Little chain. Oh yeah, there you go. Next to the cockpit. Those just basically flip open and come down. And there's some other guns down here. There's two more pulse lasers down here, and a great big beam laser or something. Oh, it's a big heavy chain gun, big heavy machine gun down there. This will be kind of cool. Oh yeah, so check this out. So here goes the guns pulling back in. Woo! So yeah, so when your guns are deployed, you obviously can't fire your guns unless they're deployed. See where are we at? Oh yeah.
Ship drive charging. Ready to engage.
Oh, see now it's got that those dashed lines. That means I can't go there directly because there we go.
3, 2, 1.
It's on the far side of the planet, so if I was to go a straight line to it, I would smash through the planet. We don't want to do that. That generally is called crashing, and that's a good bad thing. Oh yeah, here's these guys. Yeah, see? Rest cordial. Anytime you get a reputation change, they send you a little text message that says, hey, you're now raised cordial. Or sometimes it'll drop if you fail a mission. Or you get blown up and you had cargo that you're supposed to deliver, but you couldn't deliver it. They get mad at you, you know, that sort of thing. Like, we don't care if you risked life and limb. You still died and you didn't get us our cargo. So F you, pal. Anyway, you can see our speed in the lower left there. Even though I'm looking at this other thing right now, you can still see I'm going, you know, 150, 160 kilometers a second. And so my altimeter was also going up, or my showing that I'm leaving the planet. You can see that there. Leaving the planet behind me. Where's the planet? Oh, it's already a little pip. The planet is already well, I kind of swung around. There it is. There's the planet. You can see it's moving really fast now away. And I just overshot where I was going because I was paying no attention at all. But I'm relatively close and I'm going slow, so all I need to do is just flip over and I can dock at the planet. It's kind of nice where there's stations, they're just like right next to each other, or literally like on a planet where you can like land on the planet and then boost up into orbit, and there's a station that's, you know, 0.2 light seconds away. So all I have to do is just kind of basically match orbit with them. So here we go, 5 megameters away. That means 1,000,000 meters, kids. That's the thing with interstellar distances. They're so far and so long that you have to kind of like have new terminology just to you know, make sense of it. Like light seconds. Like I said before, a light second is something like 300,000 kilometers. So if something is 5 light seconds away, that's what, 1.5 million kilometers? That's that's a long ways off. Hey, here's Dark's High. Well, there's a different type of station. So this system's got a little habitation ring there. Yeah. And it's got all kinds of cargo pods or factories or whatever those are rotating around too. I always assume those are like apartments or something. And here's part of the the business end of the station's gonna be over here. You'll see that in a moment. Hey, what was that mail? Home data delivery. Oh, all right. Well, whatever. Apparently there was a mission that they had a time bonus. Oh, if I had gotten this mission done, which is probably at one of the other stations I wasn't at, they would have given me an extra 90,000 credits, which would have been nice, but no, I didn't get the bonus. However, even without the bonus, I'll still get whatever the original thing was. That's just icing on the cake. Now, a lot of times you'll get those where you come into a system and you've got like something and they'll say, hey, if you can get that here in the next 5 minutes, we'll give you X tens of thousands of credits extra. So now I'm closing on the station. We wanted to say hello to them and ask for docking. And here goes the auto dock. So this is kind of cool to see this from here. I'm just in 2001. I don't know if you noticed all those little gun turrets on the way in of the airlock, but they don't cotton to them trespassers around here. So this is very much like the other station I started off at. Here we are, Pad 24. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and enter the hangar, and I'll show you something that's kind of cool in here. So here's the turntable again. I could turn around, and if I was launching, they'd move me back up again so I could launch out towards the door I just came in through. But in this case, they're going to back me up into the hangar and then have the little frame go back up, and then it's ready for your landing enjoyment. Anyway, what I was going to show you is this. Let's see. So here's our outfitting thing. Outfitting allows you to alter your ship. So here's my ship. We've seen it before. And then hard points. It shows what all the weapons are on your ship. So it shows where the hard point is, and then it says what weapons there. So I got all those pulse lasers and one big beam laser and a bunch of multi-cannons. So say I'm like, I don't want to change this gun out. The pulse laser is fine. Maybe I want to put something else there. You go to browse shop. I'm not going to go into all these other things because there's millions of levels of detail in this game, like I said before. Anyway, this gives you your options. So this is a class 3 size mount. So I can put things that are up to class 3 in that mount. Since this is like, I think, an agricultural station, they don't have lots of weapons there. So there's some mines you can drop. I've never used mines. It seems kind of missiles, which also can get shot down and you have to lock on and blah blah blah. Same with torpedoes. Railguns. Railguns are sexy. A great big old cannon. So you can see these ones are both there's only 1 and 2 sides, and you can see how the DPS goes up, damage per second, and it does armor piercing, so it gives you your stats in relationship to what you've already got on there. So right now this weapon uses a lot more power on the thermal load. It's 3,000 times more thermal load on, I guess, so it's going to heat up really quick. The distributor draws 800% more because it's pulling 5 megawatts to fire that weapon. Holy cow! And the power draw off the distributor, basically, the power distributor. It's it's a thing. Anyway, and it shows the maximum clip size and ammo. So that actually uses ammo. It's a great big old cannon, just goes kaboosh, and puts a hypervelocity projectile weapon on a fixed mount. I will keep my single pulse laser weapon on a turret mount with automatic signature tracking. Thank you. But as you can see, it's also got much lower DPS, only 9.5 per second, whereas the railgun does 50 per second. So it's like 428% more, but it does have a fixed mount. So, and you saw how this ship maneuvers. It's not the most dogfight friendly ship. So anything with a fixed mount's kind of So you want probably turrets and hardpoints or pintle mounts. However, also if you get jammed, they can jam you. I can jam you one with like a ECM module or a chaff. That's it. Chaff modules chaff will kick out little strips of aluminum. It's a real thing. Look it up. Anyway, they the chaff will screw up the enemy's tracking systems. So you'll see all if they're blow chaff out, you're targeting them, your little pinpoint gun will just go like, ah, and randomly look around because it can't see the ship. That's a defensive thing. So instead of the chaff launchers, if you have a fixed mount, wherever you're pointing that gun when you shoot it, it will fire at that target. So it won't freak out. You can't freak out the computers on it because it's just going straight ahead. So yeah, there's the hard points. Utility mounts are like your things like shield boosters, and there's all kinds of utility mounts. There's point defense These will shoot down missiles, your chaff launcher. There's the chaff I was talking about. And you can also put in different types of scanners and such, all this stuff. And you can fiddle with that. So these ships are very highly modifiable as far as like when you get a ship, it's just got base level E of everything, and sometimes not even the full size of a thing. Like, well, this is a size 8 compartment, but there's only a size 7 generator in there right now, or a reactor, because yeah, the core internals, these are your big ticket items. Now this is the stuff that you'd want to find in your, or improve on your ship as soon as you can, especially your power plant, which is your reactor, your power distributor. That's a must. That basically gives you more power to distribute between, well, power distributor to distribute between all your different items. Life support's fairly useful because you don't want to die. Basically, the higher the level of life support, just the lighter it is. And also, where it says emergency life support, 25 minutes there. If my windshield gets blown out, then I only have 25 minutes to get to a base, or have to reboot and get my ship working. Generally, rebooting, you can't do that in combat because they blast you to pieces. So, anyway, there's the frameshift drive. We already went over that. That's your hyperspace. The thrusters, I have 7As, which are the fastest thruster I can get, which is still not very fast for this ship because it's a pig. But we knew that going in. And the reactor. Now, see, the reactor, I'm still looking for an 8A reactor. However, not only is that going to cost like $1 bazillion, it's also going to be fairly hard to find. Like, see, they've only got up to 6s here. 6A reactor, not bad. But it only puts out 25 megawatts, whereas I'm already pulling in 33 on my other reactor. So I'm going to need, like, you know, a much larger reactor. Just the way it is. You can see the top speed and the boost speed and the light years go up a little bit. Or they go down. They change depending on the weight of the reactor. Now see, if I downgraded to like this like 6B, it's still, yeah, it doesn't go as fast, see, because the 6A reactor weighs, in the upper right there, 20 tons, whereas the 6B weighs 32 tons. So it's more efficient to have the A in there because it's lighter, and the lighter your ship, the better, because then the faster you can go. All that fun stuff. And all these things, you know, all this stuff does, you have to mix and match and fiddle with all your stuff and tune everything. And that's what's great about this game. You can have so much stuff. Even just getting a new ship. When you buy a ship, it's like a good ship, a good base ship, but it's still a piece of crap as far as like what you can do in the long run. It's like, oh, good, I got 2 like little fixed crappy pulse lasers in 2 of the weapon hard ports, and all the other weapons are empty. All the utility mounts are empty. The cores are all E's, and sometimes not even the best thing. And sometimes they're even empty. Like, well, I have an extra 2 bays here that aren't even loaded with anything. Optional internals are like, like these, like your cargo bays. There's your shield generator. Shields are optional. You don't have to have a shield generator. Well, it's a good idea to do so. And there's all the different millions of things that it talks about for the different optimal sizes and strength and everything else. Cargo capacity. There's my fuel scoop. Then my docking computer, which that's a size 3 bay, but the docking computer only takes up a 1 bay. But I don't have any smaller bays that are available, so I'll use that. Seems kind of a waste of space to me, but I'm being honest, it'd be kind of cool if you could cram in like another size 2 in that size 3 bay. Like, okay, let's put a docking computer and this other little module in there, or maybe even have where you could do that, but like say sacrifice 1 space if you have 2 of them in there, or maybe even like, you know, an extra space per thing. Like say if you had a size 5 bay, you would cram 3 1s in there and then sacrifice 2 spaces, but you have 3 different components in that one size 5 to sacrifice it. It's an idea. Frontier devs, if you're listening, good idea. My planetary vehicle hangar with my little SRV, I haven't even seen that yet. I haven't seen that, show that to anybody. Advanced Discovery Scanner. That's a device for scanning planets and getting in better quality scans for your range and better ranges and stuff for passive scanning and all that. So you can scan target bodies and get information from them. These two military compartments were added onto this ship. I remember I said the Type 9 was just a big pig of a thing. The military compartments were added into these ships to have them have specific, like say, reinforcement packages or other military things. Like I suppose you could put a fighter bay or something in there. You can put fighters on some of the ships. And then the planetary approach suite is always mandatory on the ship. Otherwise you smash into planets and stuff. That's not good. And then there's like your livery. You can change your you can change like the name of your ship and the decals on it. And like Celeste. Oh yeah, here there goes. There's Celeste. Celeste sounds like this.
Commander, this is Celeste. Your confidential assistant, also known as Escola.
She's sexy.
Greetings, Commander.
Verity is the standard one that's listed.
Commonly known as Cobas.
And there's Victor.
This is Victor, your cockpit voice assistant, more commonly known as Cobas.
So Victor is my voice thing on my big passenger liner. He's the butler or whatever. he's the human purser. I don't know. And paint jobs, you can actually change your paint job on the ships too. Have all kinds of crazy paint jobs and stuff. Change your name, the different name plates. I just have the basic ones. You can change them to different stuff. Different decals you earn by doing different things. I'm like trade like entrepreneur, moving up towards elite, which is the highest rank. There's my political affiliation and a sticker for my pathfinding days or from exploration. Weapon detail. My weapons are red. They flash red when they shoot instead of just kind of a whitish color. And engine detailing. And dashboard, you can buy bobbleheads and all kinds of crap to put on your dashboard. And string lights if you want. That look like this. Doo-doo! I don't know. That just doesn't look very professional to me. It's very Firefly-y, which is kind of cool, but I don't know. This is my big awesome ship. So, and there's little scarabs. You can do different things for your scarab. That's what the scarab looks like. Your little SRV, and you can see there's one seat in there. So you're sitting in a little glass bubble, and you drive around and shoot it and collect data and stuff in your little rover on the surface of the planet. And there's also those little booster thruster thingies on the back there, or actual little jump jets, so you can jump up in the sky and like jump over boulders and valleys and stuff. I think in my next video I'm actually gonna do a ground mission so you can see how those look. Those are pretty fun, because I already kind of showed you how like the other stuff works. Stored modules just lets you look at your other stuff. That if you've taken other modules off of ships and stored them instead of selling them, you can put them on a different ship, that kind of thing. Like say, hey, I put a lot of work into this 5A reactor. I know that I'm using an 8 reactor right now, but I might have another ship that uses a 5 reactor, and then I've already got one that's got modifications, and it's already a 5A, which is, an expensive reactor. It's like 20 million credits or something. That's nothing to sneeze at, so. But upgrade it to a good one, so. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and exit here. I've already explained everything on how to play this game, I think. Or at least showed you a good sampling of stuff. Ahead and quit now while I'm ahead, so to speak. And then we'll continue on. I'll do another video in a bit. They'll show a continuation of your of the missions themselves, different missions, and then trying to do some other missions. I think I have a scan mission maybe for a planet, and like a salvage. Salvage is always fun, but anywho. Let's go to save and exit here. Yes, quite sure.